If you have an online course, you definitely got to find ways to constantly engage your audience, engage your students. And creating quizzes for your online course is one of the best ways to actually keep students engaged. So in today's conversation, I want to explain to you how to create quizzes for your online course. So here is an overview I really want you to pay attention to. First of all, let's talk about what an online quiz is, okay? And when we talk about creating quizzes for your online course, what is an online quiz? An online quiz is basically an assessment tool that helps teachers make their courses more engaging and measure their students' understanding of a topic, right? So you have two things here. You have the engagement and you have the ability to assess the knowledge level. So this is really good. So an online quiz actually consists of brief and targeted questions about the most critical aspects of your topic. And the goal here is what? The goal here is to ensure that your students not only understand the topic, but also can implement it. They can implement the topic in various real-life situations, okay? And course creators typically use quizzes between lessons and modules to help students summarize their learnings and be better prepared for the next lessons, okay? And by the way, welcome back to the show. It's really a wonderful feeling to have you here. And I want to quickly give you the benefits of using quizzes in your online course. So if you have been running online courses for the last, let's say last month or last 10 years, whatever, and you haven't thought about online quizzes, I want to explain to you why you need to start doing it now. So quizzes enhance learning. Okay, so you're basically adding value to your students' lives, okay? You're helping them actually learn things because quizzes play a pivotal role when it comes to getting your students in the learning mode and making them pay more attention to your content. And quizzes also increase completion rates. So when you invest your valuable time and resources in creating, let's say, an online course, you want your students to watch it till the end and gain as much value from it. Okay. And so this is important because you're trying to, if you want to build a community of students, of lifetime students, they need to actually increase their completion rate. And online quizzes also do something else. They help you gauge student performance. So you know exactly if they're kicking ass or they're just struggling, right? So adding quizzes to your course allows you to measure the impact of your course and get a real picture of how much your students are learning. And also online quizzes encourage competition. You can use quizzes to encourage healthy competition among your students and motivate them to achieve higher grades. Now, let me give you the steps you need to follow right now if you want to create online quizzes that are engaging, okay, when you are having your online courses. By the way, let me quickly remind you of today's conversation. The topic, I am speaking to you about how to create quizzes for your online course. In other words, how to create engaging, captivating online quizzes, okay? And first of all, you need to define your quiz goal. So your course should have multiple quizzes across lessons and modules, right? And what you want to do here is you want to subdivide those lessons and modules. So each of those quizzes should have a clear goal that aligns with the overall learning goals of your course. So this is important to really, so you got to ask yourself a few questions. Okay. For example, why are you creating this quiz? What do you want to measure with your quiz? How will taking this quiz benefit your students? Because it's not just about you actually creating an online quiz, but if the quiz is not adding value to your students, but only adding value to your own course, it's not really worth it, okay? And so you got to really ask yourself, what would they miss by not taking the quiz? What's the scope of the quiz? Do you want to focus on a specific lesson or create a comprehensive quiz covering the whole module? Does your quiz align with your course's overall learning goal? So answering these questions is quite essential because what will happen here is that the answers will determine the direction of your quiz and the kind of questions you will include in it, okay? And so number one, define your quiz goal. Number two, I want you to create a quiz structure for your course. See, when we talk about quiz structure, we're thinking about going back to the skeleton. Everything needs a backbone. Everything needs a skeleton. So if you have a skeletal structure for your quiz, you are going to be very successful. So if you have an overall quiz strategy, you are able to outline in that strategy the number of quizzes in your course, the frequency of quizzes, the timing of quizzes, the connection between different quizzes, the learning goals of all quizzes and how they will help you cover all the core topics of your course, the number of mandatory and optional quizzes. Okay, for example, you can go for a simple quiz structure in which every module ends with a comprehensive quiz focused on its lessons, or you can go for a lesson-specific quizzes for only the most critical lessons. Number 3, I want you to choose your quiz types. Okay, now when we talk about quiz types, you need to understand that basically you don't want to bombard your students with too much information. Okay, it's important to understand that you have to actually think about the best quiz type for your audience. And based on our research, if you want to be very successful at doing this, you want to actually stick to 3 or 4, maximum 5 quiz types that resonate very well with your audience and are more suited to your course type and quiz goals. For example, let me give you an example. If you want to quickly measure your students' understanding of a topic, use a multiple choice quiz instead of a true-false quiz. Why? Because in a true-false quiz, there's always a 50% chance that your students might be wrong. So you don't really know if they are guessing their way through a quiz or responding to the questions based on their understanding. Similarly, if you're creating a comprehensive qualification quiz for, let's say, an advanced course, you could actually use an open-ended question format that basically does 2 things. It allows the students to deep dive into the topic, and number 2, it allows them to respond in detail. Okay, so those are really important elements. But the thing is, such questions are not suitable for most beginner or intermediate level courses. Plus, you can't use such questions too frequently. Otherwise, your students will lose interest. Okay, so you got to keep your audience and quiz goals in mind when choosing the question types. Step number 4, you really need to determine the difficulty level of your quiz. This is one of the most quintessential parts of designing an effective online course quiz, because you really want to make sure you want to keep them engaged, but also don't actually like have them lose interest. So the thing is, you want to challenge your students, okay, and don't make it a formality. However, you must actually test different versions of your quiz with your beta audience to do that. A beta audience is a small group of students that you sign up for a discount so that they go through your course content and share real feedback. Test your quizzes with your beta audience and tell them what you're looking for. For example, if you create a moderate difficulty quiz and share with your beta testers, you might find it's too easy or too difficult for your intended audience. The next thing I want you to do here is to actually create the quiz in your online course platform. See, the whole thing is that either you probably have, when we talk about online course platform, maybe now you have your own website, or you're using a dedicated online course platform, or you're using a landing page. So it could be anything from LearnDash, or it can be something from Zenler, LearnWorld, iSpring rather, or you can use Thinkific. You can you could use a Podia. You have a constellation of players out there. Okay, but with all this preparation, you're now ready to create your quizzes on your online course platform. This is critical because if you choose the wrong platform, you might not be able to create the quizzes you want. So for example, some online course platforms only offer basic multiple choice and open-ended questions, but if they don't offer advanced quizzes like drag and drop, sequencing, object matching, or even true or false. Okay, some course platforms don't offer graded quizzes at all. So if you choose such a platform, you'll need to use a third-party quiz application for your course, which is really not ideal from a user experience perspective. So you can really think about that. So let me give you a few pro tips, really a few pro tips. Here are ways that we think, based on our experience for the last 20 years, you can use quiz questions in online courses. By the way, before I actually cover this part, please, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. I'm having a conversation with you about how to create quizzes for your online course. So I'm trying to always contextualize the conversation so we all know what we are talking about. So if you want to, there are a lot of ways you can actually, you can use quizzes as a course creator. The bottom line is what? The bottom line is to have an engaged audience, a knowledgeable audience, and an audience that sees that you are adding value to their lives. So you can have lesson-specific quizzes. You can have module-specific quizzes. You can have goal-oriented quizzes. You can have qualification quizzes, and you can have competition quizzes. So those are the 5 major types of quizzes that you can have. Okay, so lesson specific quizzes. Most online courses consist of short lessons grouped in separate modules addressing a specific subtopic of your course. So to ensure that your students understand everything you teach, you can use quizzes after every lesson or the more advanced lessons in a module. Okay, for example, if you teach a course about SEO that has a module about on-page optimization, you could include quizzes for lessons like title and meta optimization, content formatting, image optimization, etc. And lesson-specific quizzes help students test their knowledge and fully understand the core concepts at every stage of the course. But it also means a higher frequency of quizzes, which might be overwhelming for your students. So the best approach is to use quizzes for the most crucial lessons only. Now you have to think about module-specific quizzes. So those quizzes cover all the lessons in a module and are more comprehensive. That's why they are the most popular choice for online course creators. And so module-specific quizzes help you gauge a student's understanding of a broad set of topics without overwhelming, frequent questioning. So however, they are longer than lesson-specific quizzes because they cover more content. And you also have goal-oriented quizzes. So those test a student's understanding through hypothetical scenarios. They're not lesson or module specific. Instead, you can use them when you believe your students should be able to solve problems like specific scenarios with the information you have taught. And you also have qualification quizzes. Okay, this is another element that you really want to maybe think about. So qualification quizzes are also important, and they are designed to test the student's expertise in a topic to award them a certification or qualification score. So these are mandatory quizzes with a minimum passing score requirement. And what you can do is you can actually vary things. You can make it interesting, you can make it fun, you can make it engaging. You can use qualification quizzes before awarding a course certification as a requirement for unlocking bonus lessons in your course, or any other way you see fit. Now, let me give you the approach I really want you to use as you dig in further into this online course thing. Okay. Now, there are several types of online course quizzes. Now, I really want to dig a little deeper here because, again, if you want to create quizzes for your online course, you really need to know the typology of online course quizzes. So you have the quiz type number 1, you have multiple choice questions. So this consists of several answers, out of which only one is correct. It is the most commonly used quiz type in online courses because it's easy to create, answer, and grade. Then you have the second quiz type, you have multiple answers. Here, the questions are similar to multiple choice, but slightly trickier since they have multiple correct responses. Then you have short answer questions. So these questions do not provide students with answer choices. Instead, the respondents should answer with 1 or 2 words maximum. However, some short answer questions allow up to a few sentences so that the students can provide context to their responses. And so teachers use these questions to inquire about the names, identities, or definitions discussed in their course. Then you also have open-ended questions. So this require long-form answers, usually within a word count limit. Instructors use them for scenario-based questions that require long explanations. They're also ideal for essays or writing assessment tests. Okay, then you have a true or false. So true or false are pretty easy. So those are multiple choice questions where the respondent has to confirm or deny a possibility. However, they differ from regular multiple choice questions because they only provide 2 options. And you have the quiz type number 6, you have fill in the blanks. So fill in the blank quizzes require the respondent to complete a statement with a correct answer, and you can actually make them more interesting. I mean, you can ask the student to answer from their minds or give them multiple choices. Okay, and quiz type number 7, you have object matching. So these interactive quizzes require the respondent to logically match different objects or items. You can make them more interesting by including multiple closely related options. And the quiz type number 8, you have sequencing or ranking. So sequencing quizzes require the students to arrange the answer in a specific order. You can use them to gauge a student's understanding of processes or the importance of different factors. For example, you can ask students to sort a list in a chronological order. Quiz step number 9, you actually have drag and drop. Okay, so these are highly interactive quizzes where the respondent needs to place different drag and drop objects based on the teacher's criteria. Okay, for example, a quiz could ask the students to organize items based on characteristics like color, size, weight, or material type. Quiz step number 10, you have numerical answer. And number 11, you have file upload attachment. Let me talk a little bit about the decision that you really need to make. So, are you creating quiz questions for your online course? Because if you're not doing it, after hearing this conversation, at least I hope that you really understand that you should be doing it. Because quizzes, I want to say, are excellent tools for measuring your students' performance and skills. Okay. In addition to that, based on our research, we have seen that quizzes provide you with priceless insights and help you gauge your content's impact. But if you want to create effective quizzes, you must plan and align your questions with your course's learning goals. So the tips we have actually shared into this conversation will really help you get the things done. But please go back to the origins and make sure that you really understand what you really are or what you are after. So the online course quiz for your specific content, okay, should actually help your students. Should help you first. You, the creator, should help you gauge your students' understanding of the topic and the impact of your online course. But it should also help your student get out of their comfort zone. Okay, and when we talk about the best online course for creating quizzes, you can use LearnDash, LearnWorlds, iSpring, or Zenler. Those are course platforms that offer the most diverse range of online quizzes. Okay, and so the best way for you to create an online course right now is to always have a clear goal for your quiz and align it with the overall learning objectives of your course. Then you want to create an engaging quiz that is focused on a narrow topic within your online course. Okay, and the thing is, don't look for a free online course creation. I mean, there are tools out there where you can actually create online courses for free, but this is a business for you. And this is a business for the software developer too. So think about always spending money strategically, spending money operationally to beef up your content. Okay, so even though there are free online course platforms out there, don't go for those if you're serious about this thing. Okay, and you can actually also create a certification quiz for your online course. Okay, most online course platforms allow you to define a passing score for your quizzes and award certificates to successful students. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just talking to you about how to create quizzes for your online course. And we actually have gone through a lot in today's conversation. I give you the overview and I give you the steps when it comes to creating engaging online quizzes for your course. And you have to define your quiz goal, create a quiz structure for your course, choose your quiz types, determine the difficulty level of your quiz, create the quiz in your online course. I give you a few pro tips. I explain to you the different types of quizzes, right? So we have lesson-specific quizzes, we have module-specific quizzes, we have goal-oriented quizzes. Okay, we also have qualification quizzes. We have competition quizzes. This is really good, and I give you also the approach you need to follow to make sure that you are always on top. Thank you so much. I'll speak to you another time, but until then, remember, stay marvelous.